Hello everyone, Andrew here, and wow, has it been quite a while. Just about a year and a half I think since I uploaded my last video, and this is certainly not the way that I expected to come back all of a sudden to YouTube. I of course always planned to make some kind of announcement or at least give some kind of notice before getting back into video making again, if that's what you can call this, because we'll get into that in a minute. But what happened here is as you can see here, 1:15 a.m. the day before the Wii Shop Channel closes, I thought it would be fun to look through the Shop Channel one last time, just on my own. You know, one last look through what was something so great back in 2006 when the Wii came out. And just, reminisce a little. And then I said, you know what, maybe I'll record the footage of me going through it in case someday I wish to use it, because obviously I'll never be able to access it again after tomorrow. And then I said, you know what? Why don't we just make a video of me going through it? Live with all the talking and then shenanigans that I used to be known for back in 2017 when I last uploaded. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Again, as I said, this isn't something that I had planned. This is something just a couple minutes ago I said, let's do it. And before I ever made, a video like this, I obviously expected to give everybody an update on what's been going on in my life and what I plan to do with YouTube going into the future. But for today, let's not worry too much about all that. And in the next little while, I hope to upload a video which gives more details about that. But for the time being, let's just enjoy what the Shop Channel has to offer one last time. Man, just playing the Wii again, it just brings back so many memories of when I got it back in 2006, when I waited outside and I was first in line at Walmart to get it the day it came out. I believe it's November 19th. I want to say it will forever be engraved in my memory, but then watch someone will be like, Andrew, it was actually the 18th, but I'm pretty sure it was the 19th. It was someday, that's for sure. And you even get a thing here saying the Wii Shop Channel closes, and look at those games. I didn't even say to change that tab. And look at the different things that you can buy. And we have a reminder here that the Wii Shop Channel is closing. Dear Nintendo fans, as previously announced, the Wii Shop Channel will close on January 30th, one day from today. The ability to buy Wii points was removed last year, but if you still have any Wii points that you wish to spend, you gotta do them by January 30th. Now this is the interesting thing. See, I opened up the channel and I was like, no way. I still have 2,100 Wii points on here, and I had absolutely no idea about that before I turned on the channel. I almost didn't even check. I was almost like, should I bother turning on the Wii Shop Channel one last time? Is there really any need to, just go through all this stuff again? And I said, you know what? It will be such a blast from the past. I really want to do it. And then I opened it up and I realized I had all of these unspent points. So you know what we're going to be doing today? We're totally going to be spending those. They're no good after tomorrow anyway. I know with like modding your Wii and stuff, you can pretty much put anything you want on it. So there wasn't much point in the later years, I guess, buy stuff on the Wii. But obviously, since I have points anyway, it's definitely what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be... Actually, let's go to account activity. What kinds of crazy things have I even downloaded before? Mega Man 9, I remember, was a huge thing when it came out. Because, it's been so long since a Mega Man game. I downloaded Netflix. And, I don't even have Netflix. I just thought it was cool to download it. I think there's also even a YouTube channel I never downloaded. So we're going to download that before the Shop Channel disappears forever. That's for sure. So this is obviously going to be very casual. It's so odd getting into making videos again after not doing it for so long. And again, this is probably not the video you suddenly expected to show up in your subscription feed from me. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it nonetheless. So let's get into Virtual Console. Obviously, we're going to have a look through a lot of things. I'll probably do some cutting here and there if I don't have much to say about certain things, but definitely gonna, plan it out well, so maybe I use every single last point, or at least get very close. There's a couple things I definitely have in mind that I wouldn't mind spending the points on. Now, what should we even search by? Popular titles, newest editions. Does it say when the last game was actually added to this thing? If we go to Sengoku 3, well, it tells which date it was released. It's probably here. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, well, that's not the date I meant. I meant released on the Wii Shop Channel. Because I wonder when the last time this thing was actually updated was. I guess I downloaded Netflix in like 2012. Oh, so okay, that's not search by title. I thought maybe it would just list them alphabetically. Search by category. system published. Oh, okay, that's right. We're not even into the systems yet. Okay, so NES. So this is an interesting point right here. Actually, we're gonna go back and look at this screen. Oh gosh, I'm so not used to this. Hopefully I'm not boring everybody out of their mind. I remember waiting in line for the Wii that day, or even talking about the Wii with friends at school before that. And we talked about the possibilities of the Wii Virtual Console and how you'd be able to play every single, game from all the Nintendo consoles that had come out in the past, thus making the Wii the absolute most incredible video game console ever. And then look what you actually get. You get like 92 NES games out of like the 700, 63 Super Nintendo games out of like the 1,000, 21 Nintendo 64 games out of the 300. And you actually have more TurboGrafx games on a console that wasn't even Nintendo than you get Nintendo 64 games. So overall, the Virtual Console was cool at the time for sure, but it definitely left a lot to be desired. And I think one thing that's really unfortunate as well is that any games you bought on the Virtual Console were then not something you really carried over into libraries of retro games on future Nintendo consoles. Like, it would have been so awesome if when you bought an NES game on the Wii, if it was then released on, I guess, the Wii U's eShop, you could just download it on that for free. So you downloaded Mario 1 on the Wii, now you can download it on the Wii U. And now when it's released on the 3DS, you can carry it over to that as well. That would have been so awesome, and I think so many people would have liked Nintendo's retro kind of game services so much more if that had been a feature rather than it just being now that we're trying to do like a Netflix thing. But I guess instead of just looking at the screen, here we go. Now we get things in alphabetical order. Yeah, these are all games that I have literally like 3 feet away from me on a shelf, so I didn't buy too many of them. I think it is so awesome though that one thing they did do with the Virtual Console was bring over games that were maybe only released in Japan or in Europe. And then, I mean, I liked how they would charge you an extra 100 Wii points for them. Biomiracle Bokute Upa is definitely one that people speak highly of as a Japanese exclusive, so I mean it makes sense why they brought it over. It wasn't a game I ever got too into though. You play as like a baby and it's like a platform and it's like super crazy time, but not something I've delved too much time into. Castlevania, the first time I ever actually played Castlevania was not on the NES, I'm ashamed to say. It was on the Wii when I downloaded it. The Wii is such a strange time. I got into retro game collecting around 2007. So when I was actually, so like kind of late 2006, but I really took off in 2007. So, but when I actually got the Wii, there were still a lot of NES games that I didn't own. I didn't own, like 700 of them like I do today. So, I still actually downloaded a couple games on the Virtual Console, just for fun. Dig Dug, the first one was never released in North America on the NES. Although, of course, there's also games like Star Tropics and Zoda's Revenge, which I downloaded just to show my support for the series, hoping that maybe if Nintendo saw a whole bunch of people downloaded those games on the Wii Shop, they'd be like, hey, maybe we should make a Star Tropics 3. Still waiting for that, Nintendo. Still waiting for even a Star Tropics mention in Smash Brothers. Like, now that, there aren't even trophies anymore, and they were replaced by spirits, which are just literally like JPEG images, could you not have at least thrown maybe one Star Tropics spirit in there? You didn't even have to write a description for them. You didn't even have to tell the world how awesome Star Tropics is. You could have just thrown him in there, and people could have ignored him, not even knowing who it was. So see, look, we're almost through all 10 pages of the NES games already, which, I clicked the right arrow instead of going down. We probably won't go through every single console, we'll just mainly the NES, because, I mean, that's what my favorite console is, of course, and the GameCube. If I had to rate my favorite consoles, it would probably be the NES and the GameCube, with the Super Nintendo and 64 obviously being awesome consoles as well. One thing I'm definitely looking at, though, is downloading Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels. If I download something for maybe 1,000 points, 500 points, and 600 points, one of them would probably be Super Mario Brothers 2, because I think it is so cool that, of course, you could play it on Super Mario All-Stars, but the fact that they took the NES version of it and ported it to the Wii and then released it in North America as well, I think that is super neat. And I really, really love Super Mario Brothers 2J. So even though obviously I could just put the ROM on there or do whatever, with pretty much any of these games. I mean, I have to buy something, so that's definitely a contender right there for 600 points, just so I can say I own pretty much the only 8-bit localization of that game. Because we didn't even get the Game Boy Advance re-release of it, which they had in Japan. We only got the first one, so that's rather interesting. So here we're getting really to the end. There's going to be like one game left. So yeah, Zoda's Revenge, the very last game, second last game ever released for the NES officially in North America, but the last game on this list. Link's Adventure is also a very good game, The Adventure of Link. So wow, there you go. So I guess we could do that. We'll just do a quick skim through some of the other ones. Hopefully this is interesting for other people as well. Maybe you're far into the future now. Maybe it's like the year 2040. The ice caps have melted and we're all living like Waterworld. The worst movie of all time predicted it, and Waterworld has actually now become a cult phenomenon because people are just so incredible about so amazed by how closely it reflects the lives they are now living, and you are looking at this as something that used to be something that people had such high hopes for, but unfortunately never really took off, and it's just more of the same. You get Mega Man X 1 and 2, but even Capcom and Nintendo knew how terrible Mega Man X3 was. No, personally, I just cannot stand Mega Man X3 compared to the first two. I do not know why. I mean, maybe it's because I didn't grow up with it and I didn't play it till many years later, but I think the level design severely lacks compared to the first two. And of course you get TurboGrafx. We'll look at all 2164 games in a second too. I remember when we heard that TurboGrafx and Genesis games were going to be on the Wii, and it was just like, whoa! This really weird thing had happened in the previous generation, the GameCube, where suddenly Sega, this console this company that had always competed with Nintendo, was suddenly now releasing their games on Nintendo consoles. It was so weird. And I guess, just an extension of that is now being able to play all these Sega Genesis games, which at one time you had to own either, you had to own the Sega Genesis to play. You had to, give in to Nintendo's competitor. Now you can just play them on a Nintendo console. That was so bizarre. Yeah, so let's go see which 64 games they have. Yeah, Kirby 64 and the Crystal Shards. Again, a game that at the time I got my Wii, I actually did not own it, although I'd borrowed it from a friend and played it 100%. So I did know everything about it. Mario Party 2, no Mario Party 1 or 3. The 1 probably because of the whole control stick thing. I guess they didn't want people breaking their controllers or their palms from that, but Mario Party 3 is fantastic. It's too bad that was left out. I don't think I see anything on Super Nintendo though that I'm too fond, or 64 here, I'm too worried about. Sin and Punishment was a Japanese exclusive. Paper Mario would be kind of cool. Perhaps. Neo Geo is another one. 54 Neo Geo titles is actually really awesome. A really awesome amount that came out on the Wii. If I downloaded one of these, I would have an extra 100 points left after. If I download things as I had planned before. But we'll see. A Metal Slug 4. Just 4 though. Wonder why just 4. Oh, okay, well then, wait, so why are they... Oh, because it's Metal Slug 4! And then the other ones are, yeah. Well, then you have Metal Slug, and then Metal Slug 2, which I don't understand why it's different, because the title screen clearly still shows it in all caps. Nintendo, you have no idea to order everything. No wonder the Wii Shop Channel failed, or bombed, or... It didn't really bomb. But I remember there were such high hopes in the beginning that they would be, a consistent release, because obviously when it first came out, the amount of things that were for sale were very little. But there was always this expectation that someday it would grow for there to be like hundreds of games for each console. And even Nintendo Power would, list the games that were coming out in the future, but it just never got up there. What else we got? So Virtual Console Arcade. We'll look at that in just a second. Even Master System gets on here. Sega Genesis, I wonder which Sonic games they have. You can't even jump ahead to like, page 6 or something. So we're going to have to go through every single one from the beginning. I would love to hear about other people's experiences with the Wii Shop Channel. Did you buy a lot from here? What consoles did you kind of mainly focus of if you bought things? I know that for me, I actually really thought it was neat that when you turn the Wii controller on its side, it really replicates Oh, what would we lost connection here or something? Hopefully not. It really replicates an NES controller where you have the D-pad and then the 1 and the 2 button, which kind of replicate the B and the A button. So when I've replayed both Star Tropics 1 and 2 on here, it really didn't feel like, too foreign. Of course, there was also the classic controller, which I bought, although I never really used it too much because I didn't play too many Super Nintendo games on here. It was mostly NES games. So we got Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3D Blast, and I'm guessing that 1, 2, and 3 will be on here as well. Sonic Spinball, and 1, 2, and 3, yeah, so pretty much all the main Sonic games on there. You can use a GameCube controller as well, although I remember it being really awkward for things like Super Nintendo. One of the best things you could do was buy one of the adapters that let you plug like a real 64 controller into your Wii or like a real Super Nintendo controller. That was always really good. Let's see what Virtual Console Arcade is. 1942. Oh, so it's arcade games. I see. I was like, so what, is it the NES version? But no, these are actual arcade games that you could have downloaded. See, that's so neat, and I think it's such a shame that when newer Nintendo consoles came out, like the Wii U, they just started from scratch again. Like, it's not like they took the Wii Shop Channel's kind of library, which is impressive, and it is fairly impressive, as much as I'm kind of bashing it. Being able to have all these games at your fingertips actually is really cool, even though it's, there's a lot more that there could be. But it's such a shame that when, the 3DS comes out and the Wii U comes out, and they just scrap it. I mean, I guess there's probably a technical reason for it, but then they start from the beginning again. It's like, okay, here's Mario 1 again, but you can't wait till next month when Mario 2 comes out, even though you could already just play it on the Wii. So I think that really hurts. And now with the Switch, they're doing the exact same thing again, where yes, it's a different kind of service, but it's a measly 3 games every month. So, after a year, you're barely getting 30 new games. And then what? So the Switch's console life will be about like 6 years. So that's 180 games. So say you're going to get 200 games throughout the 6 years that maybe the service is in order. And then what will happen after that? Hopefully any future consoles, they'll just be able to latch onto this Netflix-like service and not start again from scratch. But it will be really interesting to see, if maybe other consoles come out, and if it did, would there be 3 Super Nintendo and 3 NES games per month? I bet Nintendo would actually just release 3 games in total and not even 3 for each console. So it'll be interesting to see how that service goes throughout the years, but I think that it's safe to say Nintendo has mismanaged their retro game delivery services quite a bit since they started, because they definitely could have been better. But, Nintendo knows best, I guess, and what they should be doing. And if they felt that releasing 100 games a month would increase sales, maybe they would have done it, or maybe they're just silly. I don't know. Okay, so that's again. Super Games are popular, Super Junior, Sandra. So what is the newest thing that was added here? Hey, still quite a few things. Okay, so let's go back. Let's create pottery. Search by genre. Okay, so we could... Okay, is there not just a way to, view all popular titles? Okay, let's see what was popular then. So Pokemon Rumble, my sister loves this game. She has it on her Wii, and I've watched her play it many times. It's actually really neat, but that would eat up almost all my points. I could get that and Mario 2 if I wish to. I'm actually considering getting WarioWare Do-It-Yourself Showcase, because I just got WarioWare Gold for Christmas and had a blast with it. And I think the only WarioWare game I don't own is this one. So even though I could just, install the wad of it, I probably will download it just because, again, have to spend those points on something. I didn't know that Sonic 4 Episode 1 was on the Wii. I played it on PS3, where it was already awkward enough. Playing it in, standard definition on the Wii probably would be even weirder. Interesting to note that, I guess this is popular title, so it could still be in another section, but Sonic 4 Episode 2 is not here with this. Tetris Party, Mystery of White Rock Castle. What game is this even? It's 500 points. Do we get screenshots anywhere? No, you don't. Oh, maybe the more details. This is also weird. I haven't done this in a long time. Can you click them to make it bigger? No, you can't. So, hope you can see this microscopic screenshot and be able to tell exactly what's going on there. Wow, that actually brings back memories of the NES days, where you look at the back of the box, and of course the box was one of the main ways you were deciding to buy the game. I mean, I guess even, these days, it's still the same case, where you look at the back of the case or the box or whatever, and the screenshot's usually pretty small, so sometimes it can be hard to decipher what's going on. But the NES days especially, when screenshots were like pictures taken with a camera of a television screen, and then printed on the back of a box, the quality was not always the best, let's just say. I remember Dr. Mario Online RX was one of the first, I think, like, Wii Shop exclusive games to ever be released. And I thought that was really cool, and I almost bought it, but then I didn't, and here we are today. Who knows how the future would have changed should I have spent, hundreds of hours playing Dr. Mario Online. Remember My Pokemon Ranch came out. It was kind of interesting because you could transfer your Pokemon from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl to it, and I was really into Pokemon Diamond and Pearl at the time, so I almost considered doing it. And I think if you put like 400 or something Pokemon into that ranch, or maybe it was even more than that, Mew comes by and you can catch it and then transfer it to Pokemon Diamond, so I was very tempted at one time to do that. Search by publisher. How many publishers are there? Okay, well, there's a lot, but some of them have only released like one thing. Anima Game Studio, what is your, name to fame? Anima Arc of Sinners. I didn't think that Anima, it's their name, and then they put it in the title of their game as well. Let's see if we can tell from the screenshots what kind of game this is. Platformer, maybe? Not really sure, but we're not buying it. Sorry that now you're gonna go broke. Hey, Nintendo games. Let's see what Nintendo officially released. Aqua Space. No idea what it is. Almost reminds me of like Electroplankton or something. They're just trying to make you think it's the title of Earthbound. Zero. Art style. Light tracks. Can't say I'm too interested. Excitebike World Rally. I remember this is like an exclusive like new Excitebike game, which is so cool because this service, it was very new at the time for there to be online delivery services like this. It's not like today where, now you just download a whole game to your 500 gigabyte hard drive. No one really imagined that back then. So for smaller games like this to have a space where obviously you're not going to release, a new kind of not super high quality Excitebike game like this on a disc and sell it at the store for $40, but to have a place where you could just download it for about $10, that was actually really cool at the time. And while I didn't take too much advantage of it, I mean, it definitely, sparked the gigantic digital download revolution that we have today. And I think it's really neat to think back on kind of the advent of that, but it's also kind of sad because it's killing physical releases, which I definitely prefer. Thankfully, there are still, quite a few games out there which do get physical releases, but there's definitely, kind of a fear that in the next few years we're going to be seeing a lot less of that. Okay, so I'm definitely... Oh, you know what? I think we've waited long enough. I'm pretty sure I definitely want WarioWare Do-It-Yourself Showcase. So we're going to download this to the Wii System memory, which hopefully has enough room. WarioWare Do-It-Yourself. Let's make sure I'm doing all the right thing. You can download software. Okay. As of May 20th, 2014, the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection service has been retired. Online features of this game may no longer be available. I think there's probably ways to hack that back in. At least for some games. I don't know about all games. And of course, Nintendo Memory has always loved dealing with blocks rather than just telling you how many megabytes are actually left. Which is kind of funny. Now, no, I like how they switched the yes and no this time, I think. Yes is down the left. Yes, we're definitely downloading this for 800 points, which leaves us with a very awkward 1,300 points remaining. So if I download... here's, of course, the classic... I remember I was so happy the first time I saw this. I thought it was so cool. Something to watch while it downloads instead of just a boring bar. And Mario's going to jump up and hit these blocks at any second. And maybe even on the last one, he'll do multiple jumps. Man, I'll never forget the day I brought the Wii home. And I don't think that the Wii Shop Channel was open immediately, or was it? Wow, that's really blurry, because I had sat outside all night, waiting for it. I mean, I got home, and one of my, a friend of mine, Fabio, who actually helped me record my room tour, which many of you have probably seen, we came home and we played Wii Sports for a little bit, and we played Twilight Princess, which I had bought for just a little bit, and then he went home, and then I just crashed. Like, I think we played it for a few hours, and I probably went to bed at about 11 a.m. I just crashed until like 7 a.m. the next day when I had to get up for school. It's probably the longest I've ever been in bed at one time. And yeah, that's the kind of memories the Wii can make for you. So there you go, WarioWare Do-It-Yourself Showcase is now in our possession. So yeah, we have a very, whoa! Warning, health and safety. You know, it says this when you turn the Wii on, so I'm not sure whether they gotta shove it in your face again. But they decided to do that anyway, and then we're booted back here. So yeah, so that was 800 points. I thought it was 1,000. So that throws off all my calculations. So now, we have 1,300. Take away 600 would take us to 700. So we have about 700 points left to spend on something. Before we go back to WiiWare again, let us go to the Wii channel. These are all things that you could download for free. And just for the heck of it, I'll probably download some of them. I could have swear I heard that there was a YouTube channel at one point, but now that it's obsolete, they probably removed it, which is too bad. I would have liked to have grabbed that while I had the chance. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Save Data Update channel. I wonder what happened. Why did they need to release this? I've never really played much of Skyward Sword, so I wouldn't know. During the portion of the game where you collect the parts of the Song of the Hero, well, spoilers, Nintendo, thanks a lot. After collecting the Thunder Dragons, even more spoilers, some players have experienced an issue where the forest and volcano area events related to acquiring parts of the song, blah, 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 blah. You don't trigger if you saved it. Wow. I think I remember hearing that Metroid Prime 3 had a save file issue, but I'm pretty sure you had to like send your Wii into Nintendo to get that fixed or something like that. I don't think they just released a channel for it. So I guess in case the day ever comes when I play this game, I should download this. And this is really interesting because I guess if in the future you decide to play Skyward Sword, I almost said Twilight Princess. See, OK is on the right this time. This is not a game. How many people downloaded this thinking that they were actually getting the entire Skyward Sword game? So yeah, I mean, I guess if you don't download this channel and then someday... Oh, see, I fell for it. And then someday you decide to play Skyward Sword. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked there. And I even got sidetracked again by apologizing for getting sidetracked. You know, you're going to be screwed because you're not going to be able to download this since there won't be a shop channel anymore, which... That's kind of concerning. And I think that the Wii Shop Channel closing down... It's Small Mario this time. I mean, and of course other things have shut down before this too. You know, Nintendo Wi-Fi Online's been gone for a while, both the Wii and the DS. Is that these services that we pour so much money into, and you know we rely on them to be there. We need to realize that someday they're going to disappear, and that's really scary. Especially if you've poured hundreds and hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars into it, or if there's something that maybe you need to someday go and download, but then the service you need to download it from is not there anymore, and thus the software that you have is now no longer usable, or there has errors or something like that. I think that's rather scary. The Wii U transfer tool. I guess if I someday ever decide, you could gift this for 0 points. How? And I think, yeah, so to finish the last thought before I get sidetracked again. Man, did you miss me getting sidetracked for it must feel just like old times. Me doing silly things like this. But I mean, yeah, it is really scary. And I mean, even if you think of something like Steam, where it's like, no, that could never disappear. What if it did someday? And you could never download all those games that you spent all that money on. Like, I'm sure that years ago, people probably would have said that Sears could never go bankrupt. It's such a massive company. They have this massive catalog you buy things from. And now, hey, look, Sears is gone from Canada. And who knows how much longer it will be around in the United States. Or Toys R Us is gone in the United States. Who would have thought that? 20, 30 years ago. Despite the fact that Toys R Us is actually still in Canada. It's funny how that happened with Sears and Toys R Us. But who knows? They could both be on their death legs as well. Error code. An internet connection cannot be established. Yeah, I guess because Wii Connect 24 is gone. Why would reset channel? Why would they ever have let you gift something that's free? It doesn't really make any sense. And I don't think that... Here we have the screen again. And I don't think that not the Twilight Princess, the Skyward Sword thing had a gift option, so that's really bizarre that the Wii U transfer tool does. Download it. But, I mean, I wonder if people back in the day would just, receive it as a gift. Oh, it's probably because it's if you did gift it to someone, it would almost be like an advertisement for the Wii U, in a way. Like, hey, look, you can transfer your stuff to the Wii U. Better go out and buy one, despite the fact it's going to be discontinued in, 10 minutes. Ugh, that's a whole nother bag of worms. I guess, 3 years down the line, we'll be making this video with the Wii U Shop Channel or something like that, which is just really sad that, you know, is it really hurting Nintendo that much to keep these things open for longer? Like, I mean, but yeah. If anything, this is probably closing almost more in response to they don't want you to buy things on this anymore because they want you to get hooked on their Netflix-like service. But at the moment, I'm actually not currently buying into it. I do not have Nintendo Switch Online, and I do not have any need to play any of the games that are being offered on Nintendo Netflix. And even if I did, I'm still not sure, you know, that I would buy into it, because it's just not, I'm not much of a subscription service kind of person. I'm more like a buy it and own it kind of person. So that's my incredibly well phrased spiel about that. And yeah, here you go. We have, after not watching this cutscene for like probably 5 years, I mean, well, actually it's 2019. I probably haven't bought anything on here since like 2012. I probably got like these points for Christmas or something, entered them, and then said someday I'll use them, and it didn't. So that's the first time I've seen this cutscene in like 7 years, and now I've seen it 3 times. Only 1 time with buying something though. I think we still have some WiiWare stuff to look through. Actually, before we get back to that, let's do something different. I have no idea how I'm going to edit this. At the moment, I haven't really stopped talking. So I'm probably just going to upload this as one massive chunk. And I'm going to get, you know, too many comments saying, you know, too long, didn't watch. But I mean, of course, that's absolutely true. I can't even put an annotation at the beginning anymore. I was, you know, so the Wii Shop Channel was, you know, is what did it, is what brought me back from the dead. So, you know, if you want to look at it that way, one good thing coming out of the Wii Shop Channel closing is that it actually got me to upload a video. The other thing that almost got me to upload a video was annotations disappearing. I almost made a video about that, but I didn't. So, but my point is, now I can't even add an annotation at the beginning saying like, skip to the end if you want to hear, you know, Andrew's concluding thoughts or something like that. Although I guess I could just add it in with titles, but that takes effort. Settings and features is something we haven't looked at. Wii download ticket. One thing you might have noticed is that on my Wii menu screen, I actually had the Wii Speak channel, which I probably never really used. But yeah, sometimes you would buy something like that, and you would just get a code to come and download it here. I wonder if they like ever gave out codes for other things as well. I remember one year, Club Nintendo, one of the rewards you could have gotten was like a mini Punch-Out game where you fight Doc Lewis. You probably would have gotten a code just to enter there, but I picked the hat instead, which I think was really cool. You're set to receive Wii gifts. No, we're not going to change that. And remove Wii Shop Channel account. I have an account? I hope that just clicking that once doesn't remove it. There better be like a confirmation screen with, you know, the very scary exclamation mark with a yellow triangle, which, you know, usually pops up on your Windows computer when you've been infected by 12,000 viruses before, you know, Windows XP had a firewall. Those were the days. I'm actually kind of scared by how long this is taking. I'm expecting a big red screen to come up all of a sudden or something and saying, your Wii has been deleted. Yeah, why would you ever do that? Oh, I guess, yeah, if you were selling your Wii or something like that. Okay, this one definitely says back, right? This could suddenly this is going to return into, you know, the Wii Shop Channel plus Wii removal demonstration video. Thankfully not. One more thing we haven't really checked out here is shopping guide. Oh, it's just like a manual, which I am not going to show. Hopefully someone has this documented somewhere, but I don't think I want to spend all day scrolling through all this, considering it's pretty common knowledge. So with all of that said, I think we've looked through pretty much all of the main things here. We've looked through, you know, pretty much all this. Yeah, actually, yeah, one thing it didn't do is, one thing I didn't look at was the date. I wonder when the very first time I ever downloaded something was. Of course, you watching this video could easily just go back to when we last watched this. Oh, it even says when I last inserted points. Okay, we're definitely gonna go check that out. Oh, photo channel 1.1, Castlevania. Oh my gosh. So internet channel was is the very first thing that's recorded on here. Wow. December 22nd, 2006. And then yes, look at that. You can definitely tell that I got Wii points for Christmas. Plus 2,000 Wii points. And then Everybody Votes channel, which didn't cost it anything. Wow. This is just bringing back so many good memories, because I spent so long on things like, you know, Everybody Votes channel and the Check Me Out channel. Castlevania was the very first game I ever downloaded. Wow, I didn't really spend any points until July of next year. It was kind of just something I got and then had there. The Legend of the Mystical Ninja for Super Nintendo, a game I still actually do not own for the Super Nintendo because it's quite rare. And there you go. I remember the reason I waited so long is this was just when it came out. I had the points ready, of course. I even received a Wii points card there. I downloaded Star Tropics. In 2008, Mega Man 9, again, we've already talked about that. Just how epic that was to finally have a new Mega Man game, and that's when it was cool. These days, it's like, I just kind of want a real new Mega Man games that live up to today's kind of standards, but back then it was cool just to have a new 8-bit Mega Man game. Mega Man 11 is really cool, but I think it leaves a lot to desire. There's Zoda's Revenge, Star Tropics 2, and the last thing I ever did, so there's Netflix. But on January 12th, 2009, actually no, that's not true. That was when I redeemed the Wii Speak channel. So actually, wow, okay, I'm actually very surprised that I've had a lot of Wii points for a long time that I haven't spent. The last time I ever added Wii points was December 30th, 2008. Again, it looks like I probably got 4,000 points for Christmas that year. And then after that, I actually bought some Mega Man 9 DLC. That's right, I bought a couple of games, but most of it just sat on my console for a very long time. And again, I hemmed and hawed back then about things like WarioWare Do-It-Yourself on the Wii, and things like the Pokemon Ranch that I never ended up downloading, so it's kind of funny that today we got to see that. So, with the 1,300 points that we still have remaining, I'm definitely considering Mario Bros. 2 J, and I'm probably just going to cut here, and unless anything good happens, I'm going to decide on one more game to download probably, and I'll cut back when I've got all of that decided. So, see you in a bit. Alright everyone, and we are back. It's been about 10 minutes for me. I mean for you, it's probably been about 10 milliseconds. Let's go to Super Mario Bros. 2 J, the first game that we're going to be downloading. If we search by title, would it be smart enough if we just put in like SMB2? I wonder if it would be that smart. It did not return anything. Your search system stinks, Nintendo. Let's just put in lost levels then. So one thing to note is that for I think for like a year now, you haven't been able to actually add Wii points. So that's why it's so surprising that when I turned it on, I actually still had, Wii points to spend, which is, not something many people probably have at this point. It's also one thing I don't think I mentioned. Again, it's been in a few minutes, so if I did, please forgive me. You can gift things on the Wii, but I don't think that's on the Wii U, on the 3DS, or even the Switch, that you can actually gift things to people. So I have no idea why that's a feature they wouldn't add. Teal Game Master, the incredible person that he is, when he gives me sometimes for Christmas and such, he wants to send me a game. So he just PayPals me the money, and then I'll download it on the Switch eShop. Let's let me make sure this is the correct thing, right? Yes. We spent some memory. So yeah, like it's so silly. Why would the Wii have a gift option and not like the consoles that came after it? It makes absolutely no sense. Super Mario Bros. The Last Level. Just making sure I'm doing everything while I am yapping on here. So this is the first game we are downloading, and I'll leave you all in suspense regarding the second thing that I have decided on. The second game, like most of the games that I downloaded for the Switch, is quite rare, and something that even to this day, I still do not own. So it will be great to have it on the Wii, should, I never get my hands on it, because it seems like rare things that I do not have my hands on at this point, they're not getting any cheaper, and they're not just showing up at thrift stores anymore for like $5 back, like they did back in the day. Walk into Value Village and find $5 complete in box Conker's Fur Day on the shelf along with the VHSs because the person who priced it didn't know any better. Now they're all looking up stuff on eBay, and it's completely out of hand. Like sports NES games, and not the rare sports NES games, because there are actually a couple, but like Blades of Steel for like $20, where I don't check the price of Blades of Steel very often because I don't need it, but I don't think it's a $20 game. But that's just, they see video games and they get dollar signs in their eyes. The last thing we are doing is Newtopia for Oh, sorry. Technically, Newtopia too, but hopefully by just searching Newtopia, we get the second one as well. For the TurboGrafx 16, these are very cool games that play like, top-down Zelda games of the NES and Super NES days. Newtopia 1 is a $100 game, complete. Newtopia 2 is like a $300+ game. So while I will probably play the original on the TurboGrafx someday, I would not be surprised that, short of some kind of miracle where someone sells out their collection and, this says in bulk and it's included along with it or something like that, or I do happen to come across it at a garage sale or a thrift store, I will probably never own the Newtopia 2 physical copy, since I'm not, I love the TurboGrafx and the TurboGrafx CD, but as I don't focus on those collections too much. I'm not going to go out of my way to pay massive money for it. It will definitely be cool to have it on the Wii, and hopefully I will just be able to, play the original on the TurboGrafx, as it's not too insane, although still insane to a degree, I suppose, compared to some things. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it would make more sense to buy the first one, since I don't own that either at this point. Perhaps I'll change that in the near future, because I have been hankering some, 2D Zelda goodness lately, since Nintendo only seems to make 3D ones these days. But should the time ever come when I need to play Newtopia 2, I will have it on the Wii. I almost said the Switch. On the Wii. And of course, this is all made moot by the fact that, ROMs exist and you can do all sorts of crazy stuff with the Wii, but we had the points to spend, so we spent them, and there are 100 points left, but I'm sorry to say, you will be deleted in about 24 hours time. So there you go. That is an adventure through the Wii Shop Channel, the last one I will ever have, and perhaps the last time, you guys watching will ever experience it as well. I'm sure I rambled on. I'm sure this video is going to be way too long, but I hope that you all enjoyed it nonetheless, and I think it is time to return to the Wii menu and appreciate the things we just spend our hard-earned points on. Those hard-earned points that we forgot even existed for like 10 years. Oh man, Wii, you are interesting. And I've said some not the best things about the Wii in the past, I think because, I had my qualms with it due to the fact that it seemed to appreciate, or seemed to champion motion controls more than actually playability, like Donkey Kong Country Returns. Having to shake the controller to do a roll, it's like, really? I didn't like that kind of thing. And I think that kind of marred my experience with the Wii overall, where it seemed like every game had to have motion controls sandwiched in there somewhere. But looking back at it these days, now that we've gone through the Wii U and we have the Switch, I definitely appreciate the Wii for what it was a lot more. So let's look at all this stuff. There you go, WarioWare Do-It-Yourself Showcase. That should be interesting to check out. Very exciting, and save data update channel. This is something I'll probably never use, just because I don't see any reason to put my Wii data into my Wii U. My Wii U is actually not even hooked up right now, and I've had a hankering for some Mario Maker lately, but I just haven't felt like hooking it up. My Switch went into the HDMI port that my Wii U used to occupy. Despite all the remakes, and that's a whole, another qualm altogether, that the Switch is getting, I would not mind seeing a Mario Maker 2 on the Switch, even though it might be kind of awkward with the fact it's not, like a stylus touchscreen, so making levels might be kind of weird. And, of course, Super Mario Bros. 2. And Newtopia 2. Lots of 2s. We got the Wii Fit channel. This is really cool. I didn't even see a place to download this anymore. So, I mean, again, there's already some things on the shop channel, again, like we noted, the YouTube channel, that you can't download. So, it's a preview for Metroid Prime 3. Now it should be the preview for Metroid Prime 4 if it's, not caught on fire somewhere due to how terribly it was apparently being managed. And lots of cool games on here. Again, these were games that I obviously bought because I didn't own them at the time, with the exception of Star Tropics 1 and 2. A tournament is apparently underway, guys! I almost said 2018. Still not used to that, only a month into the new year. 2019, and there's still Mario Kart Wii tournaments going on. Not really. But there you go. And let's take it away, Mario Bros. 2 Lost Levels. So with that, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it has been so long since I uploaded, and a lot of people probably want more of an official update regarding, where I have been all this time. And I do not blame you for that in the slightest. I hope that within the coming not too long, I will make more of that. Oh, darn it, you screwed up the thing that I wanted to do. I wonder if I can still save it. Can I get you down onto this lower brick? No, well, that's not going to do it. And I know that I definitely do need to make more of a video talking about where I've been in the last while, and I'll definitely do that soon, but hopefully you've enjoyed this nonetheless. I was really hoping to do the infinite lives trick, but looks like we won't be doing it today. Actually, you know what? Who even cares? We're going to do the infinite lives trick. Why did I start playing Super Mario Bros. 2? It sounds like I completely lost my train of thought. Hopefully you've enjoyed this extremely long video about absolutely nothing. I'm just a guy on the internet who rambles about things. Perhaps you've forgotten about me in the year and a half that I've been completely gone. A lot of people are probably going to see this in their subscription feed and be like, who the heck is that guy? There we go. Now I can just put this down and actually talk about things. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching this. I am so sorry about how long I have been gone. I'm so sorry about how many times I get, sent off, off topic. This is very strange for me as well, because I have not uploaded a video in a very long time, and I have not talked to myself like this, for like almost an hour straight in a very long time, since whenever, I uploaded my last gameplay video was, or I guess any video at all. As long as you're talking to a camera, you're alone, but it's worth it so that all of you out there can get some enjoyment out of it. And yeah, I will definitely make a video in the future about where I've been. I am alive and well. My last video, the Mighty Number 9 update video, about getting the physical rewards, it's been getting a lot of comments about, like, are you still alive? What's going on? Where are you? And I felt really bad about not uploading anything, but I will explain why exactly I haven't uploaded anything in something that's going to be coming into the future. But for all those who have waited so patiently, and who have watched this video as long as it's going to end up being to the very end, I cannot thank you enough for all of your support over years. I have never forgotten about you. I've never forgotten about YouTube. And it's been on my mind a lot, despite the fact that I haven't posted anything. And the reason I haven't posted anything is because I've always said, I want to come back with a bang. And then suddenly, here we are. The Wii Shop Channel is closing in. It was the thing that got me to finally come back to YouTube. So yeah, it's probably not the fireworks you're expecting for my grand return. But I hope that you enjoyed this crazy thing nonetheless. And again, if you have no idea who I am and you came across this video and you actually watched it to the end, or maybe you just skipped to the end to see what I had to say, or whatever it is that you did, thank you so much for watching as well. Yeah, there you go. Now we're just watching Mario do this forever and ever. I guess we'll wait till it runs out of time. What can I talk about for 90 seconds? Super Mario Bros. 2J is a really interesting game, and this is something I'm going to talk about then. Wow, we somehow went back to the beginning of the points again. It will be interesting to see if we've gotten so many lives that we game over. Because that's the thing that happens. I think if you go like over 255 lives, it overflows, and you die if you you get game over if you die after that has happened. But I have been not doing too much gaming since I've last been on YouTube and such, but I have gone back and cleared a lot of games that from my childhood I never really had the chance to get to beat, either because they were just too difficult or because they were too tedious, including things like Dragon Warrior and Deadly Towers, and that's all stuff I'll talk about someday in the true update video that I make. Now look at that. That was cool that we looped around the lives and did a thing, and now we're even going to get another live here. Actually, I think I already got that one, so I guess we're not getting that live there. Although we are actually going to get a couple more lives. Wow, this is me warming up for my big Let's Play comeback. We'll see about that. No guarantees at all. Depending on if you do that correctly, there are sometimes ways to get lives there. We also missed the underground bonus room, which I'm not too worried about. And I also totally just wrecked any possibility of getting a 1-up at the flag, because I just collected a coin. But that's the way it goes. This has been Andrew. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this, and see you in the future if I, make that update video. So thanks, and see ya.